Welcome to the channel for Family Solutions Therapy and Legacy Treatment Center. Today I wanted to talk about recovery, and in particular, what does research and experience say is different about those who are able to achieve and stay in recovery versus those who cannot. About 15 years ago, I found myself with a caseload of young adults. Their primary diagnosis was substance use disorder. And I watched them struggle to figure out how to stay sober. And so together, we started a research project to look at what does the literature say, what does the experts say, and then what were my clients experiencing. And all three of those things led to what we've started to call the 10 keys to a successful lifestyle of recovery. So I wanted to start to share with you what these 10 things are and help encourage you to really focus and consider, and not just to do them as a checklist because I want to stay sober, but to really adopt it as a way of being. This is how I think, this is who I am. And the more you believe and make it a part of who you are, the more successful you will be. Now, none of these keys, I think, are more important than the other ones. And so the order necessarily does not go from the most to the least important. However, I do think the first few keys are very important to begin with. The very first key is, what is your purpose? What's your reason for wanting to be sober? And the literature is really clear about this. The more of a reason you have, the stronger your motivation and maintenance in staying sober. Examples are, there has been for decades now a program of recovery for professional airline pilots. It's often referred to in the literature as the HIMSS program. And when we look at the outcome for those pilots, 7 years into the program, 87% of them are still sober. And what makes this program different than all the other recovery programs? Well, pilots generally identify themselves as pilots. They love to fly. They love flying more than they love to drink. And that has become a central part of the program, is to keep in mind what being sober allows me to do. And so I encourage all of us to consider, what's our reason? Now, for most people, the first reasons why they are in recovery is probably because of pain. Pain is probably the number one reason we do any major change in our life. I'm doing this because I don't want to hurt my family, my spouse. A probation or a lawyer said that this would be good for me to do. And that's an okay place to start. But once those external motivations are gone, there's no more reason to stay sober. Also, when things get very difficult, those reasons can go away. So having positive reasons, and it doesn't all have to be as obvious, I guess, as being a pilot. I watch a lot of my friends in recovery, and there's a friend that I have up in Salt Lake City, and he has started a sober pickleball league. They call themselves Once Pickled, and he loves it. They look forward to their tournaments, to their practices, to their getting together. It gives them a sense of purpose. A good friend of mine down in Texas, he was telling me about his recovery. And he says, Troy, maybe it seems odd, but I have a group of friends and we all like to go play billiards together. And we are known as the sober billiard team. And there's a lot of identity for him around that. And it helps him remember why he wants to be sober. Now, it's not just having the reason, something that I repeat to myself intellectually. Because when we are under distress, our intellectual mind, what we know, is gone. Our brain will not use what we know when we're under distress. However, our creative minds can sometimes stay a little bit more intact depending on the level of distress. And that's why visualizations and why mantras can be really important in our recovery. What do we visualize? Do we visualize ourselves being with our friends and playing pickleball, and that's connected to not taking that drink? Do we visualize the positive outcomes, the enjoyment, the encouragement, the social aspects? Or is it the opposite, that I won't fit in, that I can't do this without? So really spending the time to create that visualization, creating that mantra, one day at a time.